Hello and welcome back to Paranormal Pendle, the return. Or is it the Paranormal Pendle, the next generation? Who knows? Anyway, we are broadcasting to the Paranormal UK network at paukradio.com. I've had a count back, and this is now episode 64. So that's quite a milestone. I never thought I'd get to this. I've got some great guests coming up, so we will be having more podcasts. I did decide to take a break, as you probably all know, just for personal reasons, really. But I'm raring to go. As I say, I've got some great guests coming up on the podcast, and I've got a great guest for you on this episode. It's Mr. Mark Reynolds. How are you, Mark?
All right, thanks, Craig. Good to have you back as well.
Good, thank you. No, it's good to have you
Yeah.
back on as well. I had you back on. I had a look back. It was July 2024, so July last year, when I first spoke to you. And honestly, I did get a lot of really, really good feedback from that podcast.
I was
Uh,
really surprised.
well, no, I wasn't because you were talking about some really interesting stuff, and that that's the whole point of the podcast, really. And I enjoyed talking to you, and I've always wanted you to come back on. And obviously, it's been quite a few months now since you were on. You've
Yeah,
obviously had some adventures, which we're gonna have a talk about. But let's
yeah.
just go right let's just go right back to the beginning. For people who didn't listen to you the first time, there may well be some. Tell us a bit about yourself and how would you describe yourself? How did you sort of get interested in the paranormal in the first place?
I think I've always been interested in paranormal as a child, I think, more than anything. But the interesting thing is, it's been like I've always like witchcraft. I've always liked stuff like that. And the paranormal side, I've always believed in ghosts
Hmm.
or spirits or whatever you want to call them. But that's something else I want maybe talk about later because I, my views have changed, not changed completely, but a little bit thingy. But yeah, that's been about it, really. And I started doing a bit of paranormal investigating, then I stopped, then I started again, then I stopped again, and I've sort of had a long break.
Yeah.
Not been, not been had a few health problems through winter and stuff like that. And I think winter's been a bit shitty this year, to be fair, with my health and stuff. But
All right.
hopefully now I'm back. I'm hoping.
Good.
I'm hoping.
Good. Well, it doesn't get any easier as we get older, does it? I've had some health problems myself as well, which is one of the reasons really why I sort of put the podcast on hold. But it's good that you're feeling better. We're coming into summer now here, aren't we, in England? And
Yeah,
it's been warm today. It's been
it has. Yeah, it has. And to be honest, it's my birthday tomorrow as well, by
oh,
everybody.
happy birthday.
So if whenever this goes out, it's first of May. Yeah, I'm a Beltane child actually.
Right. Well, happy birthday.
Yeah, and so is my son. So we both got the same birthdays. We're both
Right.
Beltane children. Yeah, if you
Wow.
believe in that sort of stuff, like and that pagan stuff. But yeah,
Well, no, I mean, tell me more about it then. What's your beliefs around that? What
yeah,
is it a festival? But I
yeah.
have
Beltane. It's basically a fire festival,
right.
basically more than anything. It's been around. I mean, obviously we can only speculate to when it was, but it's always been written down in the past as Beltane Festival. But it's supposed to really start, I think, from I think it's normally some day night time tonight or night time tomorrow night.
Right.
I think. I'm not too sure, but really, it's just a fire festival more than anything. I think more than anything. Spring is coming as well. It's going to do a spring. It's all to do with spring and what spring comes around. And
Yeah.
but
So
that's yeah,
it's a celebration of um
yeah,
sort of rebirth then.
yeah, like a rebirth thing. Yeah, it's. I think I mean, it's an old belief set. It's an old thing, but it's always been here. And I just think we've got to sometimes we've got to go back to what we were instead of being pushed into uh, I do other belief systems, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
want to dismiss it basically. They want to dismiss it or take it over and do it their way. But but that but that's just the way of the world, isn't it? It's what some belief systems want to do, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, everybody has different belief
Yeah,
systems.
of course they do.
I
And I
just
think we've all got a right to have a different belief as well, haven't we? No one can say you've got to follow this, you've got to follow that.
yeah.
to me, it's sure what you believe in yourself, isn't it? Basically, to be
Yeah,
fair.
absolutely. And certainly a lot of the old belief systems and the old pagan beliefs. I mean, I do take an interest in that. I think there's some really interesting historical and folklore that's around the old ancient belief systems. Uh,
I think sometimes when you look at your folklore, is it folklore?
mm,
I mean, at the end of the day, they wrote nothing down, so everything's come orally. So, are we actually saying it's folklore? Could they have actually been seeing things
yeah,
and experiencing things that we haven't got now?
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I mean, certainly Christianity, for instance, borrowed an awful lot, didn't it,
oh
from
God, yeah,
from
oh
from
yeah,
pagan beliefs?
yeah. I mean, you look at what they do in some Christian beliefs. It's really a pagan ritual, isn't it?
Yeah,
But,
absolutely. I
but
mean, Easter, we've just had Easter, haven't we? Which is
yeah, sorry,
yeah,
yeah,
which is really rooted
oh
in
yeah,
pagan beliefs, and that is all around rebirth, isn't it? And
yeah, yeah,
the onset of spring and the crops starting to grow, and the rebirth of the world after the long cold dark winter. So that is very much sort of um, steeped in pagan beliefs and pagan history, as is of course Christmas. That's
yeah,
ex
yeah.
that's exactly the same. That's obviously a Christian festival that's heavily borrowed
Oh God, yeah, definitely, definitely. There's no shadow of doubt about that. I mean,
from pagan beliefs.
I think it's just a shame that everything has to be changed. I love churches. I've got a big, really fascination with churches. I love churches. But the thing with me with churches is, I think to myself, well, what was there before?
Yeah,
Because what they did is they took and put churches on pagan ritual sites or pagan sites and
yeah.
manipulated that around that. And it's just to me, it's just an interesting thing for me.
No, absolutely. For those people who are listening on the podcast as opposed to watching this on YouTube, um, just to your right there is a doll's head.
That, that,
And, and
that,
and may I say that dolls freak me out something rotten. And look, the fact that she's been glaring at me ever since we started having this chat. And I apologize for the barking in the background, by the way. That was my one of my cocker spaniels, Freddie, who for some reason every time my phone makes a noise, he goes absolutely bonkers. I think he thinks it's the Ring doorbell for some bizarre reason. But that's going off subject slightly. So the doll, Mark, tell me about the doll.
right. Like yourself, Craig, I had a massive fear of dolls. I don't know why. Just didn't like them. Couldn't go near them. Big fear. And me and the wife went Buxton. There's an antique shop in Buxton with like going. This Buxton in Derbyshire.
Yeah.
We walked in, walking around, having a look around. I'm thinking, I seen it come down the corner. I thought, oh, saw this doll. I thought, oh, but wasn't scared of it. No fear.
Right.
And it's an old doll. It dates, I think, approximately 1860 to probably 1920.
Can we have a proper look at her?
Yeah, she's she's German made.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
see her there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
she's German made. But she's got a mark on her at the back of her head.
Right.
But I'm not quite sure of what actual year she has made. So we know approximately, basically.
Is there no markings on her or anything like
Yeah,
that?
just a marking on the back. There's a marking on the back of it,
Yeah.
which tells us to make it.
Right.
Some of them have got the year wrote on,
Right.
and unfortunately, we haven't got the year wrote on, so we don't know. But we know. I can't remember the name of the maker actually. I know it's definitely German made, but they call it
Yeah.
a Bisco doll or something because
Oh,
she's clay basically.
all right. I was going to ask whether she was porcelain or not, because she
No,
looked
she's basically clay, I think.
right. So
Yeah,
yes, she's got a clay face and
yeah,
she's got sort of blondish hair, hasn't she? Is it
yeah.
hair under there? With a hood?
Yeah, I got a little bit on. Yeah, so it's a little bit there. Look, but it was. it was a strange thing because, like I said, I'd got a bit of a fear of it.
Yeah.
I can't get her back up. She might have gone back in position
Oh no,
now.
she can watch. She can join in. It's not a problem.
There she goes. You see her there? I don't know if you can see her or not. No,
Yeah.
she's not quite in
I
shot now, is she?
just see the top of
Oh,
it. That's it.
there you go. There you go. Yeah.
I'll leave her there.
um, but the strange thing was with it wasn't a fear.
Right.
It was like, oh. Anyway, I called the wife over. She come over and she went, oh, and she picked her up and held her.
Hold it.
And we both went, we've got to have her, haven't we? And I brought it. She wasn't cheap.
No.
She wasn't cheap anyway. She wasn't cheap. She was 120 quid.
Right. Okay.
She
Well.
wasn't cheap. But she's Victorian and she's antique.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't get rid of the wheel because I just, we did a bit of a, um, sort of tried if we can get anything off it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And the strange thing about that is what I got off it was something like she'd been abandoned. The kid that she was originally
All right.
for
Yeah.
had died quite young.
Right.
The other children in the family sort of didn't take to it.
Right. Didn't play
She
with
was
it.
sort of passed around a bit like that. But the strange thing is, when you speak to other people about it and they've held it and they've gone, oh, you've got the same thing, sort of roundabout. Not exactly the same, but same thing. And you think to yourself, oh, hang on, it's a bit strange, isn't it?
So
I,
do you think that there may be something attached to it?
I, no, to be honest, I think she's more of like she's got a really, really like a healing presence with it.
Right.
She's not horrible,
Hmm.
and you're gonna like that off her at all. But when you pick her up, it's like you want to hold her.
Yeah.
I know I'm a grown adult. I'm bloody 57 tomorrow, and I shouldn't be thinking like this about a doll.
Well, no, I
But
mean, if you've had, I mean, you've obviously had children, so, and it's not something that you ever lose. I do it with the dogs. Rock our dogs. We've got a puppy at the minute, and I've been rocking her like a human baby. And it's because I remember doing it 18, 19 years ago nearly
yeah,
now when my son was born.
yeah,
But it's sort of it's ingrained in you. Now, there's obviously something with that doll
there is, yeah.
that is attracting you to it in a good way
I think,
rather than it being a negative sort of.
yeah, I think when I go, because I'm going parameter in May again, because I love parameters, which is in Hinkley.
Yeah.
I'm going to take her with me. I think I'm just going to take her with me and just see what
See
other
what people
people,
think. Yeah.
yeah, see what they think of it.
Yeah.
And
That'd be
just
interesting.
yeah,
I mean, obviously some people are more susceptible to being able to pick things up than others.
of
Um,
course you are. Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
we know that there are we've both made friends in this field of interest that we have who are not self-professed mediums, but they can certainly pick things up and sense things that other people possibly can't. So it might be interesting, for some of those people who we know are quite tuned into this sort of thing.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe see if there's anything there with her. No, it's fascinating. I'm trying not to look at her. Uh, she's just peeping at me around the screen, on your side of the video. Yeah, it's a bit off-putting. Let, let's
Do you want
let's
me to move it? Do you want me to move it, Craig? Do you
no,
want me to move
no,
it?
you leave her there. It's absolutely fine. Um, when I said I wanted to get back in contact with you and we had a quick chat about what you were going to talk about, um, you mentioned about what your thoughts were on what a ghost was.
Yeah,
Well, I'd be really interested about what your thoughts are on that.
it's. I think the more I listen to people, the more I hear people, I speak to people. Everyone, probably including yourself, Craig, we know it's an energy.
Hmm.
Everyone accepts it's an energy of some sort of thing that energizes in front of us, or we feel through us. But I'm I'm just a bit. Sometimes I think how we human us as humans see a ghost as a human.
Mm.
Everything's got to be human. There
Yeah.
is some people who see animals. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disputing that at all.
Mm.
Which I think they are seeing. I mean, I fall over our cat still. The cat's been dead for years, and I still step over the cat sometimes. I still think it's there.
Yeah.
But is it the actual land
Mm.
and that's creating the energy for us to feel that? Because it's just going back to what I was saying before about ancestral things and stuff like that. We've all got DNA
Mm.
and we've all got a consciousness, and everyone seems what we get through a consciousness is what some people are saying now is what we see as a spirit.
Yeah.
But we've got to remember we've got DNA as well. Now, if our ancestors were seeing things back 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, however years ago, if that's locked away in our brain somewhere in our DNA, could we be seeing that as well?
Mm.
Could that be coming forward through us? And our brains naturally going to go, it's a man or a woman or a dog or a cat or a cow or whatever. But it could be anything.
Those sort of
It could, it could be anything, couldn't it? It could be actually anything.
yeah.
Because our brain's got perceived as a human being. Same
Mm.
as pareidolia, isn't it? Through the pareidolia. We
Yeah.
always see a face in pareidolia.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're supposed to see. Or are we supposed to see it? I don't know. Supposed
Well,
to think,
it's our
yeah,
brain, isn't it, that
yeah,
interprets something that when we look at it, we interpret it. I mean, it's like the face on Mars, isn't it? For instance,
yeah, of course it is, yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I mean, some people look at that and don't actually don't actually see a face. They don't
No, no, it's nothing, yeah.
like why people think it looks like a face. But when I look at it, I can see that if I look at it long enough, it does look like a face.
Like a face, yeah,
So
yeah,
so I
yeah,
suppose it's an interesting theory that about the DNA. Maybe that acts as a filter.
yeah. I just think maybe now people are coming more open to what the paranormal, or if you want to call it paranormal, the unexplained, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just, I don't know. It's just something that just plays on my mind a little bit recently. And I just think, if you take science out of it, I'm trying to look at this as a probably what a peasant sitting in a field and seeing what they perceive as a fairy running across a field or something running across a field.
Yeah.
They're to them, they're genuinely seeing that.
Mm.
And then when you look at folklore, like you were saying earlier on, if they're genuinely seeing that back then, and this has come through oral stories and stuff like that, they could have been real. And I don't know. It might sound daft,
Oh,
but I just think maybe we need to sit back and look at it a bit more realistically and go, hang on a minute. As a normal peasant person, as a normal person, non-science person, there's none who's supposed to know everything about it, like someone in the paranormal say that they do,
mm.
and just sit back and look and think, hang on a minute, we're seen as a human,
Mm.
or as a land. Like I said, the land could be creating that and seeing what we see.
Yeah, and we're just interpreting it as
Yeah,
what we recognize as being familiar. But
yeah, yeah,
in fact, the energy could be something completely different, and it's just our brains that are manipulating that
yeah.
information that's
I,
coming in through our eyes.
I mean, we all know buildings. We all know buildings hold energy. We all know that. I mean, they all hold thoughts, and people get the thoughts come through. I do myself.
Yeah.
I mean, what I said before about Wild Age Priory, just around before that, when I got that feeling emotional at Wild Age Priory,
Mm.
and that's not me. It's
Yeah.
not me. So why have I got that there
Mm.
now?
How what exactly happened with that then?
So well, Wild Age, there's a bit of burning on the walls, and I touched the wall, and something made me not move my hand away. So I put it away, and I went, hang on a minute, put my hand back, and it was like I must have been there about 2 or 3 minutes, like an emotional, real feeling. And I walked in, I was I was crying, tears down my face, and I thought, hang on a minute, what's
Mm.
going on here? This ain't right. It's not normal.
Mm.
And but I've been back since, and nothing.
So
So,
you know the history of the place?
well, there's bits where this is what really sort of apparently the lady who set it was a girl named Emma. There's a few people. There's a few people. This Emma name comes up. There's Emma who was married to one of the local lords, and I can't remember his name. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. But and then there was this Emma who was a daughter of a guy named Reynolds. Uh,
Okay.
I think it was Polniak or something like that. I can't remember the name exactly. But I thought, hang on a minute, why's my name come up here?
Mm.
And I knew nothing about that until we researched it. Now I dropped my phone in the pub when we found out after. I was very surprised. Just
Yeah, yeah,
very strange.
yeah, yeah.
Coincidence or not, I don't know, but I don't know. But
So
that was a weird, strange thing.
yeah, so there may well be some family link then.
I don't think so. Looking at, I can't.
Okay.
But it's saying that you don't know, do you? Because it's 11. That was 1160 odd, I think, something like that. So I wouldn't know.
Yeah, well,
But
who
we found, well, we found that I think the Reynolds bit of the family. Because Dad didn't know his dad, but the Reynolds bit of the family from Bristol, Gloucester area.
right.
So I don't know. But obviously, people travel, don't they, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
one of the surprising things is that um I've done my family history as well, and it's surprising how much traveling people did. Especially, I mean, even before the Industrial Revolution, there were people, traveling from one side of the country to the other looking for work.
And we never think of it though, do we? We just think, oh,
Oh,
that then they couldn't travel, they couldn't do this, they couldn't do that, but they did, didn't they?
of course they did, yeah, absolutely. And then um, at the beginning, well, all the way through the Industrial Revolution, but certainly at the beginning, there was a big exodus of farm labourers from the south of England up into the north of England, where the factories were being built, and cities like Manchester and Liverpool, and obviously the potteries as well, where you come
Oh
from. That
yeah,
that was
yeah.
a huge area. Um,
Well, the
and I've
the
I've
Reynolds.
I've got ancestors that came from down there. So
Oh, we're down south.
and in fact, north from the potteries, and my wife has as well. So yeah, no, my wife's we're going off piste here. My wife's family came from Burslem.
Oh yeah,
They were
Muslim.
they
Ooh,
were
Vale country. Ooh no. Yeah,
they were all potters,
yeah,
and also there were miners as well.
yeah.
And my on one side of my family, they were called Bradshaw. They were from Stoke.
All right.
And there's a place up here in just over the border in Yorkshire called Bentham, and it was a huge potting area
All right.
because of the
Oh yeah,
clay that's,
yeah.
and there were factories grow up. I mean, it's out in the middle of nowhere, just a little village, but there were factories built, and lots of potting and pottery made up there. And my ancestor came up from Stoke. He was a potter. Came up, bought some land up here,
And
um,
settled up there, yeah.
and opened a factory, small factory.
Oh,
So yeah. So the point is, my point was that there was a lot of movement of people,
well,
uh, or even
The
playing
Reynolds.
railways. You know,
Yeah, well, great granddad, I think. He was a farrier sergeant in the army.
right?
I found this out.
Mm.
But some of the family, my nan's parents' family were born in Kent. Some were born in Newcastle upon Tyne. He travelled.
Yeah,
So from his regiment, where he was with, he was travelling all the time. I mean,
yeah,
he married an Irish woman in Dublin.
right.
So I've got Irish in me as well. So he's like me because they were born there. And I've got like families all over the place. Lincolnshire, Fenlands. My mum's from that area originally.
Right.
So it's quite interesting. Like you say, they moved, didn't they?
People did move around. Yeah, there was a massive amount of social mobility. People don't realize. Even going back to the sort of 18th and 19th centuries. So yes, it's entirely possible that that,
But I think
that
as
you are
well.
related to Reynolds.
Yeah, yeah, the Fenlands, so where my mum's side of the family are from, I think that's where the side of me liking the witchcraft and has come from because my cousin's a witch, so
All right.
she's a witch, so
Yeah, there
I
is
think
definitely
that's come
some.
through, yeah,
Yeah, there's definitely something very atmospheric about the Fens. There's
yeah,
not two ways about it. And in fact, the whole that east side of the country as well, going down to Norfolk and Suffolk,
yeah, yeah,
is I think it's a really atmospheric atmosphere and landscape down there. It's very flat, whereas where I am here, it's very hilly, and there's
yeah.
definitely a different feel to it.
Well,
Um, Go on.
yeah, go on. No, you're right. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, let's have a move on and have a chat about
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of your investigations that you've been involved in. So, which are the ones that really sort of come to mind? Which were the ones that has there been any that have scared you in any way?
Dude, I've never been scared once. Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed to be fair because I feel like when I watch everything on TV, I'm supposed to run away. But
Well, I
I've
think
never.
that's for entertainment purposes more than
Oh
anything else.
yeah, oh, you mean it's not real, Craig?
Well, maybe
Oh,
not.
oh well, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I went. I did New Shamabi with
Okay.
Barry John, Jacqueline Dixon, and some guys from that group that they run. And Newsham was very interesting because it was like it's where Lord Byron used to live.
Okay.
So it's Byron's family home basically, and that was a really really interesting place because it was like you walk through the corridors, and I'm not a medium, but you could feel the corridors to me there were just alive with people. You could feel when you walk through them like movement of people, that staff moving about, and even though obviously I'm talking spirit wise and that now.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So these were ghosts. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's that thing of that energy thing again, isn't it?
Mm.
That soul of the building. Is that what you're getting?
Mm.
Because that's normal thing, isn't it? It's just to me normal people doing normal things. If
So,
someone
so, so
saying that,
the stone tape theory, in other words.
yeah, yeah, sort of, yeah. Yeah, stuff like that. I really like. But I went for a day visit there before we actually I did the investigation there, which is where I wanted to go. To be fair,
Mm.
and I walked in the library there, which I don't think was a library at the time. It's just been created like a library now.
Yeah.
But I actually felt someone grab my hand,
Okay.
and for me, say that is
Mm.
very very rare because I can be skeptical.
Mm.
But it
You
was such a funny, yeah, it was a funny feeling because it was like, oh, someone's got my hand. I know someone got my hand. I can feel about my hand.
Was it like something squeezing your hand then, or was it just
Yeah,
hold
like a breeze, like a breeze on my hand.
so very
But
gentle?
yeah, very gentle. But when you but I did what thing I normally do. As a breeze coming in there, is that window open? Is that coming from there? But it wasn't. It was, and I thought to myself, well, I'm going to speak to whatever it is. So I spoke, and it sort of responded, and I found that quite fascinating. But I think it was something like a little girl or something. I don't know, but
Right.
it's
Why did you think that? Why did you think it was
it's just a feel of how she was, and I could feel that he was a girl, a little girl.
so so somebody attached to the
The
abbey?
house, yeah, yeah, I think so, yeah.
Whereabouts in the country is it, by the way? I forgot to ask.
Nottingham, might be Nottinghamshire, I think, it's Nottinghamshire. But Barry John, who did the investigation, one of his relatives, I think 6 times back, used to work there.
Right.
That's a portrait of his relative in there,
All right.
and
Okay.
that was in the room
Right.
that I got that funny feeling on my hand.
So, okay.
But when we went back investigated, it was different again. It was you can just feel like it's. I've just got to say it again. It's like it was alive.
Right.
But lovely, lovely place to get. If you ever get a chance to go, just go and visit the place because it's just a lovely place. It's just really, really nice. Really, really nice feel about the place as well.
Yeah.
But we went upstairs and we did. There was me, another lady, and a lad. I think we did one room on our own. Another group was in another bit. But we were seeing. Oh, it's Newstead, not Newsham. Sorry, I was getting it wrong. It's Newsham Abbey. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Okay.
I've just been corrected.
It's all right.
But in the room, where we there was, because obviously you couldn't hear in the room very much at all. But we were talking and asking if anyone was there. Obviously, what you do.
Yeah.
But there was a big window in there, and there was something going past the window. The
Right.
room kept getting dark and then light, dark and then light. So we all moved. We all physically moved across the so away from the window completely.
Was it like a figure?
I don't know. You could
Or
just
it's
see it was getting
like
dark.
right.
Yeah,
Okay. So
not
it
really
went
big.
it went from
Yeah,
light to dark and then back to light again.
yeah.
Shadow.
Like somebody walking, like someone walked past the window,
Hmm.
something like that. But I found that quite interesting for someone like myself who's not really
Hmm.
who who, who wants to be who wants to believe, but I think now as I'm getting older now, I think I feel that there is definitely something going on in these buildings and this band. But I keep going more towards the land again, and I
Yes.
just think, yeah, I know things can be on what they call ley lines and stuff like that. Which, if you think about it, it's definitely they exist. There's no show that. I mean, even science will say they exist, won't they? So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
energy coming from them that we can't explain, isn't there?
Hmm. And they could obviously be the vehicle that
Yeah.
these areas of energies are coming through.
Plus, obviously, sandstone as well. We all know what sandstone, silica. We know silica records for the tapes and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So really, it's not. It's a fact, really, more than anything. Not a.
It's
Well, it's just a
interesting. It's
fact.
interesting
Yeah,
that you mentioned sandstone because that hill behind me in the picture there is sandstone. So Pendle Hill is sandstone.
yeah.
Uh,
Now,
and
if
yet
that
all
sandstone trade,
mm,
that's going to attract people to it
yeah.
because they're going to feel that in their bodies. And
Mm,
this is what I'm trying. This is my thing with stone circles as well. They put stone circles in places that they felt things.
yeah. Yeah, well, I think it's a fairly well sort of balanced theory that a lot of stone circles were built on ley lines.
Yeah,
Avery, for instance, sorry,
yeah,
Avebury, Stonehenge, obviously, Castlereagh in uh,
yeah.
Korea. They're all on
Yeah.
ley lines, which is interesting. It's interesting how our ancestors picked up on the energy. I doubt it was just a coincidence that they built all these stone monuments and obviously meeting places or whatever they were used for, worshipping what the beliefs and everything else.
I
Uh,
mean, this is what we'll never know, is it, Craig? We'll never know what they were for, really, will we?
no,
We're not going to know. But if they walk across that land, it's like me walking across somewhere and going, "Oh, funny feeling I've got there. I've got a feeling in my foot or something like that." Going, yeah, come here, Dave. Come over here. And then to me, you'd mark that spot, and from that spot, things develop, don't they?
mm,
And I just think it's not rocket science to think that. And like I say, with ley lines now, we know, don't we? We know all these stuff's on ley lines. So these people, these early humans, or whatever you want to call them, could have been just feeling that
yeah,
and marking the spots.
yeah, they could just been attuned to it, couldn't they?
Yeah, just been attuned to it.
Do you use any equipment when you're doing your
No,
bit? No.
no, not no more.
What's your thoughts on not anymore right now? I nearly missed that then.
Yeah,
So why not anymore?
I just don't think. I think if you're going to pick something up, you're going to pick something up.
Yeah.
Your body naturally is going to pick it up.
Yeah.
I think you've had experience yourself, Craig, and when you picked up
Yeah.
yourself and you think to yourself, well, what am I getting? You don't. I don't think you need equipment.
No.
I think you need equipment if you're running events.
Mm,
You want to see flashy bright lights, flashy this, flashy that. And don't get me wrong. I mean, some of it does work really well.
I'm very
It does
skeptical.
work well, but you've got to be skeptical about it sometimes, aren't you? Because I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
No. No. Well, that's that's a perfectly reasonable answer
Yeah,
to give, because I certainly have issues with these electronic gizmos that people use.
yeah.
I've just spirit boxes and all this sort of thing. It's just not for me, I'm afraid. So
I know.
you're very much the sort of person that can just go into a place and you do pick things up.
I do. Yeah. I mean, I got told about mediumship in me, but I was like, yeah, I haven't. I'll go on to the last place we did, Nottingham Halls of Justice.
All right, okay.
Been wanting to do Nottingham Halls of Justice for a long, long time, a
Right.
long, long time. And the opportunity to come on with Barry and Jacqueline and all them again to do it with them. And that's that place was. I mean, for me, the caves underneath blew me away because there's. I mean, how many was there? It was in there. There must have been about 10 of us, probably. I think something like that. And there's one Pacific corner. I was seeing lights, little
Right.
small lights, nothing. And I thought, well, there's anyone got a torch on? So straight away I checked that out. And then one of the people, Amanda, who was with us, who was one of the showing us around, one of the hosts, she said the same to me. She says, "There's a little." I know. I said, "I can't figure it out." And then all of a sudden, I got like the image of a little girl
All right.
and a boy, but they weren't related. She was younger than him, but he was looking after her. But he couldn't acknowledge that we were there. But she looked scared.
Mhm.
She looked actually scared.
Right. Right.
And I think because when we started, I tried to sort of communicate with her. I got a name, but I don't know. But to me, it wasn't. She was named like Isabella, but I think she wasn't English.
All right. Okay. Well,
Maybe.
it's quite Spanish, isn't it, Isabella?
Well, that's what I thought. But the places like it was not Nottingham where it was there. The French and Normans are there, so I don't know whether it's Norman or maybe, like I said, it could have been because
Yeah.
people travel, don't they?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
were these at one time courts, the halls of justice?
yeah, they were. Yeah, they were courts. But we went to the courtroom. The courtroom, I didn't, I didn't personally get anything myself there.
Right.
People were getting stuff there, but personally myself, I didn't get anything there in the courtroom. The chair was quite interesting. The judge's chair.
Mm.
A lot of images I've seen after saying there's certain things that you see on the images, but you've got to be wary.
Mm.
I'm not knocking what people have got because it's what they've got and what they felt there. I won't knock anyone for getting what they feel there.
No.
But some of the images are quite interesting, to be fair. They are quite interesting.
Mm.
And it's all around that chair. I mean, prime example, like I said, I don't like technology. There's an EMF meter on the side in front of the chair.
Mm.
And that kept going off. Now, I checked at the front was like a fence at the front of it, but there was wires there.
Right.
I got the EMF to check. There's no EMF coming off.
Mm.
Now, so that was quite interesting because it was sort of responding when someone spoke to it. So I don't know. I don't know. It's one of them, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of frequencies, isn't there? I mean, there's radio frequencies,
Yeah,
there's frequencies for mobile phones that are sending out signals all the time. There are still some shortwave radio frequencies that are being broadcast. In fact, I'm just waiting for a shortwave radio to be delivered because I'm quite into listening to all that sort of stuff. And I know one of my very good friends who regularly listens to this podcast, well, actually watches it on YouTube. Um, Chris, hi Chris, how you doing, mate? he's got into shortwave radio as well. So my point is that there's a lot of stuff flying around in the atmosphere that you can pick up with these electrical
Yeah.
equipment that you can
Even
very
on airplane mode, every film was on airplane mode. And
yeah,
I
absolutely.
did check that.
Yeah,
But you still, to me, it still could be picking something up, couldn't it? I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
It's
Yeah.
quite easy for someone to turn around and say that's a ghost. That noise you can hear there,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
ghost.
Yeah.
Well, how can you disprove that it is or it isn't?
Yeah.
You know,
I, I,
it muddies the waters for me.
I think we never can get proof, Craig. Oh,
No,
it doesn't matter what we do. I love what I do. Don't get me wrong, and I'm going to keep trying doing it.
yeah. But there's nothing wrong going into somewhere, Mark, and using your senses. And
No,
I
there isn't.
and I think when people start using all this equipment, and no disrespect to people who use all this equipment, if that's what you want to do, that's absolutely fine. You know, who am I to say it's wrong?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
But
agree. Yeah,
but I think it muddies the waters. It's more for sensationalism. It's more for entertainment.
yeah,
It's more for getting likes and clicks
yeah,
and
yeah.
people watching
I
watching
agree.
you know
Yeah,
stuff
I
on
agree. I agree.
TV,
I
satellite
agree.
or whatever.
Yeah. But like I say, I'm not knocking people for using it because obviously they feel that they're getting something through that, and
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
might be. They might be.
They
They
may
might
well
be.
be. Who knows?
We might be
Could be
wrong. We
us.
might be wrong.
We might be
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
We
We
probably
might be wrong.
yeah.
But
We
we
probably
might be
are.
wrong.
We
But
probably
we're
are.
probably not. No, we're probably not. But I don't like to say that we're probably not.
Who knows?
But I think I think I think we've all got something in us to pick things up, and I think we've always had that as a human race.
Hmm.
And I just think it's in our DNA, it's in our conscience, it's in us. We've all got it.
Yeah. Did
Uh,
you pick anything else up then while you were at the Halls of Justice, or did anybody around you
well,
pick anything up
yeah.
that they were quite freaked out by?
Well, this is something I want to talk about actually because this was something I'm very very skeptical about,
Hmm.
and it seemed to work for me personally and the wife because the wife did the first bit of it, I did the second bit of it, the human pendulum.
Right.
Now,
So what's that?
so basically using yourself as a pendulum. So you're getting responses through your body movements. So you're getting a yes and a no. You go forward for yes or back for no or whatever.
Right.
Um, Consciously, I think you're doing it yourself to get the response that you want to give back.
Yeah.
But the strange thing for me was when I've ever seen it done before, I've been like, I'm not sure, I'm not sure. People have gone back and forward. Yes, I think yes, forward or whatever, vice versa. I went sideways for no,
Right.
and I was thinking to myself, why am I getting sideways? Why am I getting sideways? I couldn't stop myself getting sideways. I was actually getting sideways for no,
Hmm.
and there were strong responses for yes as well with certain questions that I got. And for example, it was like I got a guard killing, murdering a prisoner, a woman prisoner. This was like the women's area, what it was, the prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but now with me, that should have been something quite negative. The bloke should have been really nasty and horrible. I should have been frightened, but I wasn't. And I said that. I said I'm not being thinking. I don't feel threatened by this bloke at all. I, it was like, and then eventually we got to the stage where we think it was revenge killing,
Right.
but it's like she killed an inmate, but it was like a revenge killing. But I
Right.
don't think she meant to kill him, but she killed him. Maybe he tried something that he shouldn't have been doing. I don't know. But it was like a revenge killing by that warden on her.
Right. Because she murdered
Yeah, yeah.
it.
And then it was like it flipped. It sort of, the energy sort of changed again. And then you've got like a woman in there with a child. I don't. But I'm still sitting here now and going, did I really get responses like that for real?
Yeah.
Because I'm still not sure if it's real.
Hmm. You're very skeptical about.
Yeah,
You think maybe subconsciously you wanted to find something like that, and so that's
yeah,
what you did.
yeah. But the movement was quite sharp though, which I found interesting. It wasn't like the certain responses we asked. I moved back for yes one time. I went straight back like that, so I did that quick movement, and I found that a bit. I don't know. I want to believe it, as you can see,
Yeah.
but I just doubt it.
No.
And
Interesting.
people swear by it, so I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't.
Interesting. I've not heard of that before, I must admit. I've
Yeah,
I've not heard of that technique. So that's interesting. Have you got any plans in the near future to go anywhere in particular?
I'm going Matlock in next month, but that's going to be interesting because I didn't realise till I found out after I booked it up. They're all mediums,
Right.
so I've been lumped in to go to a mediumship night, do an investigation with all mediums.
Right. Well, that'll be interesting from your point of view, then, won't it, to see what
Yeah,
they
yeah,
what they say they're picking up. And a group of mediums together, they'll probably try and outdo each other, so anything could happen.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, last time I went to the place, I mean, I did get something which I did get verified. To be fair, it was quite. I went. It's Matlock Pavilion in Derbyshire.
Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah, I've heard that's quite a popular.
Now I got in the corridor downstairs. I got somebody falling. Got two people falling, but it was
Right.
in the corridor downstairs. But everyone was sort of as I was thinking I've got people falling, but everyone had gone somewhere else. They were looking at the stairway. They all come obsessed with the stairway, but I don't know why because I don't. One of them, but then anyway, I didn't realize when I went for the break. I found out at the break time. One of my friends there said, you mentioned people falling." I went, "Yeah." When they were building the tower on top, two workmen fell.
Well, well, there you
And
go.
I never knew that beforehand. So that was, for me, that was quite interesting because I got that.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty conclusive evidence, isn't it? That you.
Yeah. Yeah. I was surprised, Craig. It surprised me because I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I was quite shocked after, to be fair. So
So you're going
I
back
don't.
there and see what happens, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I might get something. I mean, hopefully I'll get something. If I don't, I don't. That's me. I don't. If I get something, I'm not the sort of person that always bring a load of rubbish.
Hmm.
If I don't get anything, get
Would you
anything.
say that you're more skeptical than believer?
I think I've come more believer now,
Okay.
but I've still got that skeptical side on me.
Yeah. So you're the
But
skeptical believer?
yeah, I think we've got everything, though, haven't we? I don't think anybody who's into paranormal can
Hmm.
go into it and say I believe completely.
No.
I mean, if they do, I think they've got a wrong
Not
approach to it.
not unless you're trying to get a contract with Amazon or something like that for a TV show.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, I just think it's a wrong way to go about it.
Yeah. Which I'm available for, by the way, if anybody from Amazon's listening.
Yeah, yeah.
I've,
I think
I've
I'm
I've
not. I'm
got I've
not.
got no problem selling out for the right amount of remuneration.
No, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Please
Well,
have a.
you'll have to come back on and tell me what happens when you go. I think it'd be
Yeah,
interesting, especially going with
yeah, yeah.
such a large group of mediums and you being the only skeptical believer there. I think that'd be quite interesting. Um,
I know I'll get told, Craig. I'll get told, well, you've got leadership qualities. I probably have. I probably have. I don't know. I probably have. But it's just, I think,
maybe it's something you
yeah,
should you should explore.
confidence, though, ain't it? I think sometimes things like that, ain't it?
Yeah,
Confidence, ain't it?
yeah, it is. I suppose it is. Yeah, yeah. But until you start looking into something like that, you'll never know.
Yeah.
May well surprise you. I mean, you've certainly got the ability to pick things up from what you've said with, the stories that you've told me this evening.
I,
So
I think the future for me is going to be this, but I think maybe doing a little bit more thank you to the spirits and stuff around the land. Maybe getting back to my spirituality a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
and maybe giving something back to them rather than us trying to find it. Because I won't go back knocking. I'd like to leave something for that little girl.
Mm,
I'd like to go back and just put something in that little corner of that cave just for that little girl.
yeah. Maybe you could leave the doll.
No, no, she's not singing. No, no, no. I'm not leaving my doll. She's, by the way, her name is Hildegard May.
Okay. Okay.
Hildegard because she's German,
Yeah.
but Hildegard, the saint going back in time, she was a nun once. She came back. I can't remember what year. She was a, she was a nun that had healing powers.
Right. Okay.
I think personally she was a bit of a pagan nun, but I don't know. But
Yeah.
and the May is my birthday, and my nana's name as well, May. So it's like we give it a bit of a thingy.
Yeah. No, that's a very apt. That's a very apt name to call it.
Hildegard of Bingham, that was the name. Hildegard of Bingham, I think, something like that. Yeah, she was German.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
she a patron saint of?
Yeah, she's patron saint. She's a patron saint or something, but she's wrote music. Apparently, there's music about. She's wrote music, and it's on YouTube. You can find the music.
All right. Okay.
She's an interesting woman, interesting lady to be fair, but she's a big healer. She healed people.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
So,
that's
yeah,
yeah. She's still looking at me. She's been looking at me
yeah.
for the last hour. Um, where can where can people get in contact with you, Mark, if they want to chat with you?
Well, I did shut my paranormal stalker page down again, which seems to have reopened again. I don't know why. It's just reopened again on its own.
Oh,
But
okay.
just Mark Reynolds on Facebook and Instagram. Oh, the paranormal stalker on Instagram. Sorry,
Yeah.
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 But
Brilliant. All right. Well, it's been absolutely great talking to you again, Mark. Thanks very much for coming on.
well, thanks for having me on, Craig. Yeah, nice to have you back.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
Nice to have you back.
nice to be back. Um,
Yeah.
feeling a bit rusty, but I'm sure I'll get back into the swing of things. Yeah, keep in contact.
Will do, mate. Yeah,
Let us know how the Matlock investigation goes,
yeah, will do. Yeah,
especially with all
will do.
those mediums there, and hopefully we'll catch up at some point in the near future.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. Thank you. Thanks
Yeah,
for having me on again.
no problem. Thank you. Thanks very much for coming on. See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye
See you
bye.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.